everyone, and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today, a matchup 23 years in the making. Will Italy get revenge for its sour upset against the Koreans in the 2002 FIFA World Cup? Or will the Koreans get the goals and the W yet again? As Mr. Yo, playing as said Koreans in red, gets ready to take on Hera, playing as said Italians in blue. Now all the players heard their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Baba Blue Sheep. Baba Red Sheep too, I guess. Not a bad time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now the Koreans, a civilization classified as quote-unquote defensive, but you wouldn't really know it. All of their tower upgrades are free, which makes their tower pushes quite powerful. And starting in the Castle Age, those very same freely upgraded towers can be upgraded even more to get extra range. Now, to help you build these structures and afford them, Korean stone miners do work 20% faster. And once you're done with your primary stone, which I see is right here, and you start exploring the map for your secondary stone, those villagers are a little bit safer from raiding because they come with a massive +3 boost to their line of sight, so they can see enemy units coming from a mile away. Now, if you want to engage with your enemy in a little bit of a more mobile fashion, the Korean military itself does come with a few powerful features. To start with, every single Korean archer and infantry unit does cost less wood, and by less, I mean a lot less, 50% less wood. Their archer units get free armor upgrades as the game progresses, so if you keep an eye on the top left of your screen, when Mr. Yo hits Feudal, Castle, and hopefully Imperial, we'll see these 3 squares light up automatically. The minimum range on their mangonels is reduced from 3 to 1, which is a godsend for anyone who has fantastic attack round skills. And speaking of those mangonel line units, they can actually be upgraded to get a massive 10 range when fully upgraded. So if you're playing against the Koreans, you see a mangonel and onager heading your way, make sure you get your castle range upgrades in order, or else you might find yourself fighting in a big old pile of rubble. Now, if you're tired of playing defense, want to roam around the map looking for kills, you can turn to the Korean unique unit, the War Wagon. This is a mounted archer unit with a very healthy amount of HP, amazing base pierce armor, and one of the strongest attacks of any archer unit in the game. And remember, the War Wagon is technically an archer unit, so it does benefit from the free archer upgrades and wood discount that I just mentioned. Boar gets pulled, sheep get brought home, and with very little difficulty, a fantastic pull out of Mr. Yo. Let's take a look at Hera, playing as the Italians in blue, a cost-cutting civilization. Their university technologies are cheaper, advancing to the next age is 15% cheaper, and their gunpowder units are also cheaper. Now, using all of these saved resources, the Italians can field not 1, but 2 unique units. The first is the Genoese crossbowman, a pretty decent foot archer with a pretty decent attack bonus against cavalry. The second, the Condottiero, is a quick-moving, tanky infantry unit with not only a massive attack bonus +10 against gunpowder units, but also special anti-gunpowder unit armor that reduces the attack of hand cannoneers, for example, by 10. Now, to make their unique units even tankier on the field of battle, all the Italian foot archers in the game, except for those skirmishers who always seem to be left out of the party, and their Condottieri can be upgraded to get extra +1/+1 armor. And starting in the Imperial Age, like the Goths, like the Huns, the Italians can train their unique unit, in this case the Condottiero, from the barracks. Now, unlike the Goths, unlike the Italians, they do not need to pay for a unique technology that allows them to do so. It is an automatic feature, which is yet another thing you expect from a civilization that likes to cut its costs. Oh my goodness, that was very difficult for me to say. Alliteration sometimes is not doesn't come easy to me. So like I said, harkening back to 2002, when yours truly was trying to get the attention of, let's say, a young maiden sitting at the Korean Recreational Center in downtown Toronto, watching the game between Korea and Italy. I believe Korea, if my memory serves correctly, scored a very, very last-minute goal against the Italians, and man, did that rec center erupt, and man, were people happy, and man, was I happy to be there. It was a fantastic. I think it was like right at the end of my first year of business school, right at the end of my first year of undergraduate, actually. Yeah, it was in I want to say June or July of 2002, which is now that I'm thinking about it, a ridiculously long time ago. 4 villagers, here we go. Korean tower push incoming, but no villagers on stone. So we'll see how long this Korean tower push lasts. Also, I'm going to rewind at the end of the game. I've said this before, whenever we watch the Italians, I'm curious if Hera went up on 500 food, or if he went up on 425, because he is only going up at 17 villagers. Ooh, Mr. Yo Scout taking a little bit of a licking. Hera's got the upper hand here, literally. And first kill of the game goes to our Italian, who guns down that scout. No more vision for you, which is a pretty sour thing to lose a scout when you are pushing into your opponent. Both players now in the Feudal Age. Let's remove the fog of war and see the attack path between the two bases, although not super relevant since Hera has already discovered the proxy forward of a barracks and an archery range. So maybe not a tower push with 0 villagers on stone. How much has Mr. Yo actually seen? He hasn't seen that much. He hasn't seen the lumberjacking operation to the back. Okay, it doesn't really matter. He's placing a tower anyway. But again, without any villagers on stone, is there any longevity to this tower push? Okay. Backs away, wastes precious seconds. Now his villagers, okay, instead of completing the tower, just attacking the stable. Let's see what kind of resources are being lamed here or jeopardized for Hera. Not a whole lot. His primary stone to the front, primary gold juicy to the back, extra stone up top, and then both extra second gold. Oh, to the back. Sorry, pardon me. There is an actual gold patch here. My apologies. I did not see that in the graphics. There is an actual patch of gold here that's being lamed. And Hera, of course, the second he gets attacked, immediately, instinctively, there's your alliteration, attacks right back. And after a little bit of a squabble here, some skirmisher attack on other skirmishers, it seems like the Korean decided to continue building his tower, gets it up first, not attacking the villagers, oddly enough. Okay, now he finally does Mr. Yo firing on these villagers. Will he get a kill? Will Hera be able to get his tower up? You saw the villagers derping out there for a second. That's because Hera was furiously right-clicking. Right, click, to get that tower to go up. Unfortunately, his is on the low ground. Fortunately, it's garrisoned with 1 extra villager, and he's now on the other side of the map. But Mr. Yo knows who he's playing up against. His lumberjacking industry is safe. His berry pickers need to be safe as well, which is why the spearman is moving south. Over here, not a whole lot of doing as that tower fights another tower. So with 0 villagers on stone for both players, whoever tower loses out first, I guess that's the end of the game for that player's tower push. And to be fair, I thought it was going to be Mr. Yo's tower that falls first. It certainly has reached the 20% mark in Age of Empires. When your structure hits 20%, it automatically kicks out whatever tenants are there. Landlord and tenancy laws be damned. The second it's at the 20%, it gets you have no choice. You have to leave. So I really thought Mr. Yo's tower was going to go down first, but the skirmisher presence here out of a Korean. Remember, these skirmishers, they don't cost 35 wood. They cost 17.5 wood and 25 food, which makes them super duper cheap. Not too sure whose a better discount is on the whole, whose you prefer, the Byzantines that we saw recently in a short and recently in some games, or the Korean. I mean, 50% off wood count is fantastic. And Mr. Yo manages to gun down a villager that's repairing the tower. Unfortunately, does lose a skirmisher for it. But again, a discounted skirmisher losing that doesn't sting quite as bad. Hera gathering absolutely no resources, going up to fletching. Mr. Yo, with that free armor upgrade, has no fletching. And so his tower will be a little bit weaker. We'll see if fletching can compensate for the high ground advantage that he has. And it seems like he got evicted yet again out of his tower. Mr. Yo gets another scout kill. Okay. So, like I said, not a whole lot of doing here. Hera's second or third patch of gold, whichever you want to call it, his primary stone are inaccessible at the moment. Gold in the back, though, is safe, but look at this. Hera can't really mine stone even if he wanted to. Did his mission exploration discover? Yeah, so his scouts did see another patch of stone over here. So if he did want to, he could get it. And how sour is it when you put your skirmishers underneath a tower inside that murder hole radius, which in Feudal Age exists? You can't attack the tower with those skirmishers because of their minimum range of 1. Right? They're not inking with Andy and Sling. So it's kind of a sour to shove your skirmishers underneath the tower. If on the one hand you can't attack the tower, on the other hand the tower can't really attack you because it also has that minimum range without murder holes. Looks like Hera's bringing back whatever little army is in the front of Mr. Yo's base. That dot isn't moving too quickly. and skirmisher on skirmisher violence, and it is Hera who loses his tower, but a villager from our Italian manages to destroy it. And the dot that wasn't moving very quickly is in fact a scout without husbandry. Wow, okay, I did not expect Mysterio's tower to go down that quickly, but his skirmishers down here, Hera abusing the fact that his skirmishers were to the south, sending a villager to finish the job that flaming tower on the low ground started. And now Mysterio's trying to bust into here. Why are you trying to bust into here? I guess this is the only path you can go without getting attacked by the town center. But you're also then giving Hera an opportunity to move forward into you. Hera, no resources to speak of. Mysterio, no resources to speak of. Both of them have less than 200 total resources, which is absolutely incredible. Hera is housed for a brief second until he completes one. Now he's going up to 65, pop 60, 65. More skirmisher on skirmisher. I know some people really hate this, but Mysterio does have 3 villagers on stone. I compare them to the Inca. If only he was the Inca, he could have cheaper towers, but his tower's gonna go right up, up right as Hera brings the entire village forward, and Mysterio with 1 wall segment. That's not gonna help against those villagers whose outlines we see cutting down that tower with their cutlasses and their swords. And Mysterio's army's gonna get completely wiped off the face of the earth here. His tower's gonna fall, both towers. His skirmishers don't stand a chance. Hera biding his time, carefully managed to get up a sizable army, 11-3. His villagers joining in on the fight. And let's see, because this did cost Hera a lot of idle time with his villagers. Currently, economically, he is down about 170 total gathered resources. We'll see how long that lasts. I mean, there have been comments on the channel about how Hera, at minute 20, is down a certain number of villagers, and then by minute 30, somehow his res collected is like 5 times more than his opponent. But we'll see. That did cost a lot of villager idle time in terms of just not gathering resources. And what the heck is Mysterio gonna do? He is not the Italians. He has to pay full price for going up to the Castle Age, and a defensive tower from him. Okay, has to pull his villagers. I don't know if Hera's really that interested in attacking the tower. He probably wants to get a few villager snipes of his own. Both players, by the way, have killed 4 villagers of their opponent. This guy has a little bit of HP. Town center does get the kill. Town center does actually gets 2 kills. And now it's Hera's turn to embrace his opponent with the hug of death. A 5th villager kill for him. Skirmishers to the right. Just posturing, threatening, not really accomplishing very much here. Back here. Well, Mysterio continues to train army. He's got 7 army count, which means he only got 1 at home, and that 1 unit at home just died. So the villagers are on their own. Sorry, guys. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But if this Titanic sinks, there is no one who is going to be helping you. But wow, Hera's just not getting lucky with the attempted villager snipes. He has so many units here, and he's only killed 2 villagers. Or pardon me, excuse me, just the 1 villager. My bad. Okay, Mysterio's back. He's attacking that house again. Now he's attacking this house for some reason. This is inside the town center firing radius. Ooh, Hera's back. Not too sure why Mysterio decided to plop a farm right here, but Hera picks off the weaker Vil and finally nets himself another kill. 6 Vil kills to 4, and happy he's returning home. He doesn't want any more damage to his economy, especially from these skirmishers, which will tickle away at their villagers' HP, at Hera's villagers' HP, until it's low, and then he has to reallocate them. Then he has to bring other ones forward, send those back. It's a pain in the butt to have to deal. Skirmishers generally don't really kill villagers. There it is, the beautiful Roman numeral 3. Hera is heading up to the Castle Age. Also, by the way, discovers another villager move out. Mysterio does have a good amount of stone. Hera has seen the stone mine where that tower went up just north of the town center, and has seen those villagers mining the stone. Ooh, murder, death, kill here. He did see the villagers, so he knows what the point of these vills is. 5 more villagers. Mysterio unrelenting. But in a minute, Hera will be in the Castle Age, which means he can avail himself with almost 700 wood of siege workshops and more stables right now. Just the 1 stable, pumping out scouts. I'm surprised with 40 seconds left that he's pumping out scouts and not saving it for knights, his food count. But I guess with 9 villagers on food, although to be fair, this looks pretty darn fallow. This looks pretty darn empty. for Hera. Surprised he's not saving every single chicken nugget that he can to feed the horses upon which the knights ride. Destriers? I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that word. But Mysterio, another tower up. Town Center doing a fantastic job destroying that tower, a backup tower here. And it is, in fact, knights. Not a siege workshop at all. So forget mangonels. I do not want to engage into a mangonel war with the Koreans, whose mangonel line has 1 minimum range. And my skirmishers are going to be elite. Mr. Yo nowhere close to going up to Castle Age again. He is full on tower pushing. And if this doesn't work out, I'm not too sure what the hell our Korean can do to stop any kind of counter push. University to the back. Couple of knights. Hera pops out the first. Will reveal it to his opponent the second. So army count, Mr. Yo is ahead. Army quality, Mr. Yo is behind. Army positioning, Mr. Yo on the high ground. But we'll see if that even matters here. To be fair, there are 2 towers full of a few villagers here and there, and the knights right now only have +1 armor. That being said, what is this red dot over here? Even a spearman getting absolutely surrounded and destroyed by villagers on the right side here. Mr. Yo just not finding any luck with this tower push right now. And the 2 skirmishers bite the dust, and so does our Korean. Italy ties up the, I guess, imaginary series that I invented in my head that exists only in my head. And wow, Mr. Yo not once but twice with the tower push, and Hera just repelling it. I thought for sure he was going to go siege, but I guess, I mean, Mr. Yo is so close to getting a villager kill here, and it looked like his spearman was kind of on the high ground against the one on the bottom, maybe not the one behind him, but spit roasted as he was, that spearman dies. And yeah, this is just 0 army count for Mr. Yo. Base completely open, not even a chat. I didn't even have a chance to review his base to see where the weak spots and strong parts and where the resources are in the wall off. It doesn't really matter because he's not really walling anything off. His base is completely open. He's mining gold to the back, which is probably the right move right now after seeing those scout line units streaming towards him not once but twice. And wow, Mr. Yo put up a decent attack. Unfortunately, like I said in the beginning, it was a little odd with only 1 tower here that he had no villagers on stone. I've said this recently as well. I forget in which game exactly, but a day or 2 or 3 ago, whenever there's a tower push and there's 0 villagers on stone, you kind of question what the hell's your follow-up? I guess in this case, it was a lot of skirmishers and spearmen, which, to be fair, remember, spearmen do cost 25 wood for everyone else, but only 12.5 wood for the Koreans. I think, unless I'm mistaken, I asked this before, but nobody's really answered me. I think the spearman line units are the only infantry units in the game that cost wood, right? I don't think there's any other infantry units that cost wood. And so the Koreans have cheaper wood costing spearman line units. Unfortunately, not enough to take Hera down. Also, the positioning. Losing that scout in the beginning here in the middle of nowhere really hampered Mr. Yo. I mean, look at this. He still hasn't discovered. There was a time when this wall off wasn't even up. And if he had known that this forest that Hera chose to cut down first was so thin, look at this. It's even before these trees fell. This was like 3 or 4 tiles. 1 tower here lames this, and then Hera really only has over here, which can be lamed as well, or over here, which can be lamed as well, unless he decides to go backwards. And that is exactly what our Italian did, because Hera is Hera. Who's kidding who? But Mr. Yo, unfortunately, losing that scout so early, failed to actually scout his opponent's base, and with that he maybe didn't get the most strategic of tower placements, and because of that he couldn't really follow through. Or maybe it's just the fact that Hera pulled his entire civilization to destroy that first tower push, and that gave him the opportunity to claw his way up to Castle Age. And again, I do want to check whether Hera's muscle memory is so strong that he went up to Feudal on 500 food or 425, and how exactly he went up to Castle Age. 8 p.m. double for Hera. Oh my god. Literally at the end of the game, literally the beginning of the game. Okay. This is amazing. Skirmisher on skirmisher. I know people hate that. Scouts and scouts spearmen, and only 3 knights. But you know what? Sometimes 3 knights, a triumvirate is all you need. Let's take a look at the economies. Basically identical. Hera just down, despite pulling a good number of... First of all, he lost a villager. I think the first villager building that tower, or repairing that tower, pardon me. But he also pulled his villagers a lot to destroy that first tower push. And he only ends the game down about, what is that, 195 resources? That's nothing. He does manage to get more wood and gold, which is a death knell for the Koreans. Although, again, they don't need as much gold as everyone else. Food and stone. There's your tower push, and there's your skirmishers and the spearmen going to the Korean. Not really a monk conversion game. Not really a raisings game. To be fair, not really a killing game. More of a Mysterio just ran out of steam kind of game. Hera gets almost double the kills, 61 to 33. We saw the 4 and the 6 villager kills, and here we go. Let's see exactly when the players went up to Feudal Age. I'm just going to keep clicking back until I see when Hera clicked up. Okay, here we go. So let's rewind a little bit. Why is it not rewinding? There we go. So he did, in fact, go up at 414. Good for Hera. So he's at 436. And ... drum roll, 446. And he does. I've said this before. Pro players have muscle memory. And sometimes it doesn't account for certain very obvious Civ features. And that is one of those Civ features. And let's see if he goes up on the 800, 200. Or right now he's got it. He's got the 680, 170. Let's see if he actually clicks up now. He does. I mean, that's just what makes Hera Hera. I'm not saying Mr. Yo or the Viper or MBL or Hart or Sebastian or Leary or Vivi, pardon me, or anyone else wouldn't. I just think the muscle memory sometimes on the pro players makes them forget these things. But Hera on the freaking ball. I think it was Survivalist we saw that went up a little bit later with more food than he needed to. But Hera, wow, I am incredibly impressed by that. And as impressed as I am, it is Hera, the Italian, who evens up the football soccer series, takes the W. But GG in the fun game where Mysterio, unfortunately, despite 1 attempt, 2 attempts, just ran out of steam to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.